Hi guys, welcome to the video. Today is a lovely one. We're continuing the Floral Festival. So this is the third video in the series, but I'm gonna put the first video up next week. I was so sick to do the voiceover that I want to just redo that. So today we're looking at these two screenshots here. So you can see kind of one where the middle was out of focus, and we're going to paint this. So I'm just going to kind of walk you quickly through how to kind of sketch this, and you can see that I'm kind of putting in these parts of the center. They're kind of curved. You can see that they're kind of going in a curved shape, and then in between those ones there's some kind of the next layer underneath those, and so there's several layers of that, and you can kind of just keep putting these in. So you can see I'm doing this very quickly. You can obviously take more time. And then at the top there's kind of a triangle with all these little, like in the center they look kind of more like ovals, and at the sides they look a bit more like little moons upside down. But yeah, so that's just a very quick way of kind of how to sketch the middle out there. And then we're going to put in some of these petals. So I really love like the sculptural feel of the really voluminous petals of the magnolia. And so we put some of those in here, and you can see here that I am just kind of simplifying all these lines. So yep, whenever you're working on sketching, you know, anything really, like I was going to say flowers, but anything, kind of you're looking at the relationship one thing has to the next. So just start with one petal, see where that goes, and then start with the next petal. If you look at the whole thing, it can be quite overwhelming. Okay, so you can see how light my actual sketch is there. And then here is one that you can just screenshot and kind of print that out, or just kind of follow along and kind of look at those lines there if you want to as well. So I'm not going to go too much into the colors that I use, because that is a lot of that's in the last video, so you can check that out for kind of the mixes here. But what we're just going to do is kind of paint through and talk through the steps that I am using to paint this petal. So, or, you know, the flower. So the first thing I'm doing is looking at the inner petals and putting those shadows in. So you can see here that I have kind of mixed up colors, and I'm just looking at the inner petals. Again, we're just taking this step by step. So start with one part of your painting, mix up some colors that you can see that look fairly similar, or colors that you feel would be appropriate, just things you want to paint with, and yeah, put those on. So I am just kind of putting in these shadows, and you can see here that I've put that kind of line where it went, but then I've gone back in, got some water and softened that line out so that's not a hard shadow line. Then I'm going back in above it, and I've got kind of a warmer mix. It's got more pink in it, whereas the other one was kind of more purpley, more blue in those shadows. And yeah, just kind of going around the petals and thinking about these different pockets of color that kind of are appearing based on, you know, the overlap and the curve of these petals. Okay, so you can see here what I mean, like I'm looking at these kind of shadows here. I've got this reference image here, And yeah, just kind of looking at where those fall, and kind of then how I want to mix that up, and yeah, what kind of colours I'd like to put on the petals. So, and it's just a really good way to kind of have a template to kind of look at that and have that there to kind of, refer back to. So then I'm just going in and I'm starting to work on this center part. So I am using, this is a red that I make. It's not really commercially available, but it's very, very kind of a pink red with a sparkle in it. It's a sparkle almost like the interference lilac in Daniel Smith, with like kind of a pink red. And yep, then you're just kind of going around and working on these little petals. Also, if you're feeling like your painting is kind of drying too light, continue to add paint in, even at that stage when it's wet. Just keep adding paint. And then I'm going back in here. This is Holbein leaf green, and I'm just adding in those little areas. Once that's all dry, I start like the second layer. So I'm going in here with Holbein composed green, kind of going around those things, and I'm trying to kind of think about where the shadows would fall here, and I mix up a kind of more darker olive green and putting that in there. Then I'm also going back to the kind of bottom now, and I'm using some of the Daniel Smith Sedona, kind of like a burnt sienna, and I'm putting in kind of some of the shadow areas there to make that look more round. Okay, so I'm just showing you kind of how I'm doing these petals here. So there are kind of these darker elements, like kind of linear elements going straight up the petals, and so some of that you can put in wet on wet, but it will often like blend out a little bit, maybe too much. And then some of it you can also just add on wet on dry, which means that the paint, the first layer has already dried, and then you can come back in and kind of add some of these things in here. You can also see that it's going to make a difference if you use a really fine tiny brush like that, or if you use a larger brush. So even things like your brush can help you with the outcome that you want to achieve. So you can see here, this is like dry brushing with just a tiny brush there. And then also again, like taking this other brush, it's quite dry. I mean, it's been in the water, but I've dried it off on paper towel, and I'm just kind of blending out some of those areas. Okay, so I've done the kind of inner petals, but I'm continuing to add layers of shadows here. So I'm glazing more shadows on top of the petal, the kind of inner petals that we've already done. And again, you can see that I'm wetting my brush, drying it off, and softening those edges so that we don't get like a hard line for the shadows. We kind of want those to blend in and to kind of look very soft like they are in real life. You can see that I've also added shadows there in the center, and kind of as that shadow falls around different petals, it might start or finish at a slightly different place, a slightly different angle. So this is the finished painting, and you can see that I put some of that bouquet in the background, even in the tiny little slivers there between the petals, because when the light hits that and you get that beautiful reflection, it really looks stunning, and it really looks like, you know, you might be at a festival or you might be somewhere where there are fairy lights. So I have a few paintings that will be available later on today in the shop. I'll link it below. And yeah, they're all 11 by 15, I think. And just, it's been really, really nice to paint these flowers. I know this has kind of taken quite a long time to get to, and I do apologize for that, but I think it's been well worth it. It's just been so lovely kind of thinking about these things. We still have quite a lot of videos to go, so we'll definitely go through the summer. We've gotten some beautiful other flowers blooming at the minute, so we've been working on painting those. You can see I added some little bows into this one as well, and yeah, just very, very nice, and kind of, I hope that you guys will enjoy painting along with these as well. So this was the smaller one. I think this is an 8 by 10 wooden panel, so it's watercolor paper I already bought it on the wooden panel, so I'll link that below as well. And you can see here the emblems. That is how I sign my paintings. I get questions about that quite a bit, and I really love that. I love that element of the emblem on the painting. And yeah, I feel like that is part of my artwork as well. So I really do take time to think about what will look nice and what will really match in. It's, you know, like I said, it is part of the artwork. So yeah. This one is one of the transparent florals that we did in last week's video, but this is like quite a larger version of that. And it's got this kind of gold, and it's apricot in the shimmering in the background, but in some kind of, when the light hits it on a different way, it kind of looks almost that kind of aqua color. But yeah, it's just so beautiful and really delicate as well. So I thought it would be really nice to kind of offer this. So you can see this is the paper that I have used for these, so I've been really enjoying that. So the next video that I'm working on, which won't be available for 2 weeks, next week I'll just put the first video back up. I'll redo the voiceover, because that's like 2 or 3 weeks worth of videos, and yeah, I think you kind of need that as a reference. But this is the next video that will be coming in 2 weeks. This is going to be a spring sketchbook flip through. So this has, like, you can see here some of my shoes from the printables, and this is like inspired by the florals. You can see some of the flowers that I've been working on this week, so there's a lot coming in those videos. Also, here are a couple of the so again, if you want to take a screenshot, and these are kind of like templates that you can sketch from and paint from. We also had a really fun outing. You can see this is when it's kind of, the light's not on when I first come in, but we also had a really fun outing this week. So we went into the Beatrix Potter exhibit, and so there'll be a little haul from that as well, and just kind of some of the sketches that will be in the sketchbook. So I'll kind of interlace the going to the exhibit with the sketchbook flip through as well. But it's in New York, so it's at the Morgan Library, so I'll link it below. It's only, I think it's finishing next Friday, so if you are in the area and you want to go, I highly recommend it. It was really, really lovely, and yeah. So like I said, I will be putting some sketches from this outing. It was quite quick, we didn't really get to sketch there, but I'm going to put some of these sketches in kind of with the florals in this sketchbook. So look out for this video in 2 weeks. It will take me that long to kind of do the sketches that I want to do. And then, yeah, next week will be, I know some of you have been looking forward to the number 1 kind of being redone. So I will get that out for you next week. So have a really lovely week, guys, and I'll see you then. Bye.